Well, I'm trying to love that new music. I just can't. I just don't love it. I don't know what the problem is. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across this beautiful blue-green globe of ours. Welcome to Real News Live. It is a Tell the Truth Wednesday with Mike and not Jen. Jen has taken the day off. It's great to be here with you guys. So what we'll do is we will run through pile of news, pile of information, lots of incredible details, and get to all that stuff in a few minutes after we run through some of the usual preview stuff. We'll get to your questions. I can be here as long as it makes sense for me to be here, as long as you guys want to ask questions. I will be on, but no Jen, no readings from Jen today. She's off doing what you do in Hayden, Idaho. First things first, what I want to do is kind of get to the advertising stuff and get through that, and then we will proceed on. Just so you know, if you should miss any episodes ever, you can always go to mikebara.blogspot.com and pick up any shows that you miss. We've got today's show, Tell Truth Wednesday, should be broadcasting right there through the blog spot. We've got yesterday's toxically.blogspot.com and pick up any shows that you missed. Toxically Masculine Tuesday with featuring Sydney Sweeney's Milkers there. Monday morning news show. Also got links to my books here and videos I've done on famous UFO cases where I've solved some of the mysteries in some cases, like where I showed you what the Calvine UFO photo really is a photo of. Interviews I've done with people in the UFO community like Marina Sarin. I'll be adding more of those later. I have a great interview I did with Stan Friedman in 2019 before he passed away. I've got to get that up mounted on the YouTube channel, featured prominently, and then also put here on mikebara.blogspot.com, but also articles that I've written. Articles that I have written. Why is my phone blowing up? Okay. Okay. There's nothing wrong with my camera that I know of. Image and sound poor. Looks fine to me. Let me go over to Rumble. Yeah, it's really shitty on Rumble. Maybe switch over to YouTube. Mike Bara 333 and see what you can get on that. But from my end, I can't see anything. Not a goddamn thing I can do about it. So anyway, mikebara.blogspot.com, and you can pick up links to my books, schedule of appearances coming up. I've got some for next year already set up, and articles I've written, and it will take you directly to the Rumble. Join the channel. Really, and we've got about 300 subscribers there, or followers over there. We'd like you all to be subscribers for a mere $5 a month. You can hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, and you can pick up privilege, get your question out of focus. I'm fine. Absolutely. Let's go. Control over any of it. It's not there on my end. So, over to better. Really slow internet today. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me now. Can somebody let me know if you can hear me now? Anybody, just text me. Okay, I have no idea what the problem was, but something was the problem. Where were we? Yes, where were we? We were on Rumble, and I was telling you that you can hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. And if you do so, you can, for $5 a month, you can support the show. That money goes to me and Jen. We split that. So thank you for doing that. Or you can hit a Rumble Rant button, which I would appreciate anybody doing that wants to do it, for any amount. And you can support the show that way. And like I said, Jen and I split that absolutely evenly. So thank you for doing that. And also, please don't forget to visit our wonderful sponsors, the CBD Gurus, over at the CBDGurus.com. We can get all kinds of CBD-based products for your health. Hit the wholesale tab, slide down to Mike B Wholesale, type in the discount code ALIEN, no S on the end, no capital A, just ALIEN, all lowercase, and pick up this week's specials, which include some coffee, some various Lion's Mane products, the gummies, the lemon, the blueberry and orange THC gummies, the sleep gummies, which really do help you sleep, the broad spectrum gummies for all around immune system healing, some of the THC sparkling waters, which are great, the energy gummies, the lotion 2000, which is great for your skin and complexion ladies out there, all kinds of cool stuff. Matt and Lucas are wonderful people over there at the CBD Gurus. Do not forget to pick up products for your health over there. They are wonderful guys. Also, please don't forget to visit our other wonderful sponsors over at MikeBaraPets.com. We get all kinds of mushroom-based products for the health of your fur babies, your cats, your dogs, your horses, your donkeys, whatever it might be, and for yourself. These are all based on the Coriolis versicolor and reishi mushroom and other mushroom combinations, and they're designed to stimulate and activate your immune system. They are not medicines. They are simply supplements. Awesome stuff. I've got Barkley on the Mush Puppies. I've got Barkley on the Mojos. I've got Barkley on the super sauce for dogs. I've got them, the kitties on the special sauce or super sauce for cats. It's great stuff. Chill doggies for when we leave Barkley and he gets anxious separation anxiety. We hit him with a chill doggy and we come and check on the alarm system, check through the cameras, and he's just absolutely fine. Mush ponies for large dogs and horses. And then there's the Enforce line of products for human consumption, human supplements. They're awesome. You get the Enforce Plus for immune system boosting, the Enforce Clarity for brain function, the Enforce Restore for organs, blood sugar, blood pressure, Enforce Shield, the Enforce Gummies for kids. They got chocolates, they got coffees, they've got starter packs. Send an email to Diana at MikeBaraPets@gmail.com. Link in the description to all this stuff. And tell her what's going on with you or your pet or your horse or your friend's horse. She will get you on the right line of products to support your own immune system and help you heal yourself. They've also got some new longevity gels and beauty products. Absolutely awesome stuff. Awesome people. And we're going to have the mushroom ladies back on again. I've got Miss Fluffy Muffy on the Sequoia, premium cat food, and the special sauce. She's doing really wonderful. Her coat is much better than it used to be. She's now almost 15. So wonderful stuff. Thank you very much. Also, please don't forget to hit the folks over at LifeWave. The folks at LifeWave are, what am I doing here? Totally awesome. Where you can use the science of phototherapy, basically patches that are made of woven crystals and other products that will reflect back your body's own infrared energy, stimulating the production of stem cells. And depending on the type of patch you're using, you will get a different type of reflectivity going on. Therefore, you will heal different parts of your body. I'm on the X39, the X49 Performance Bundle. I'm also on the SP6. My personal story, I started selling these back in March because Joe Evans, a friend of mine, said it's amazing. He used it for 6 months, nothing, and then all of a sudden his health just took off. He felt fantastic. The SP6 helps regulate blood pressure, blood sugar, hormones, appetite, I lost 12 pounds. I didn't do a thing. The only thing I changed was I started using the X39 and the SP6 together. They've got energy enhancers. They've got Silent Night, Ice Wave for pain. I've got a ton of those. The Eon for inflammation. They've also got stuff like Celergize, which is a new morning drink you can do to help your cells. It's just great military technology. I'm going to have Michael Jaco on soon to talk about the benefits of LifeWave. I have another success story. Another customer client of mine started trying the patches. All she wore was the X39, and she had a major shoulder injury, a major problem. She continued to lift weights. There's no reason she should have gotten better, yet the pain is gone. The range of motion is greater. She even had some nodules in her throat that were irritating her. Those have receded. So I don't know how it's going to help. I don't know, what results you're going to get, but it's important for you to stick with it for about a 6-month period at least to get the maximum benefits. And everyone I know that has used these has had fantastic results. So that's thank you to the folks over at LifeWave. All right. Let's go through. I would like to go through a few questions. Get your questions lined up. Again, if you super chat or Rumble Rant, I'll get you to the top of the list and we'll go through them. But right now, what I want to do is actually hit the news. So it's news time. I have quite a long news segment today of information. So, and I have a few things I would like to address. By the way, yes, it's MikeBaraPets@gmail.com is the email for questions. All right, so today's news update is very, very full, very full up. One thing I do want to address to start with is apparently CIA Tony, also known as TNT Tony, had some very nasty things to say about my friends Mark Z the other day, and calling him an idiot, calling Frank 26 an idiot for saying that the RV wasn't going to go through until at least January. Of course, the problem is TNT Tony has his head up his ass again, and they never said that. They simply reported that other people were saying that, and they both made it quite clear that they did not agree with it. Being called an idiot by TNT Tony is like being called a pedophile by Joe Biden. Consider the source, okay? And frankly, Tony, let me just stick this in your pipe so you can smoke it, okay? The collective IQ of your audience added up together doesn't come halfway to Mark Z's level of intelligence, okay? Just letting you know that. So stay in your lane and STFU, buddy. Stay in your lane. All right, what do we have in terms of information? The information is very straightforward. It's today. It's supposed to happen today, Wednesday, the 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November. Every single source that I have, and that's 4 or 5 different sources, are all in agreement that today we are supposed to see some sort of public or private movement on the RV front. That means we get notifications, emails to schedule our appointments. That means we get a public announcement by Iraq. That means we get Vietnam going first and forcing Iraq to go because they haven't gone yet like they were supposed to. Everyone is in agreement that today is the scheduled day. Sky, in her update, and by the way, I had a wonderful reading with Sky the other day, 2 days ago. Just absolutely wonderful person, did a great job. Really appreciate her doing that. Talking about all kinds of stuff in life and what's going to happen after the RV and med beds, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But she has been told today. Her military contacts have told her today, Wednesday. Now, it's, I think, almost Thursday in Australia now. It will be Thursday very soon. It will also be Thursday very soon in Iraq. But it is still Wednesday here in the United States. And as she said, when she gets a day like that, it usually means in the United States. Reno time, Las Vegas time, the time that I'm on, we still have 13 and a half hours of Wednesday left. So it could happen at any time. I believe that Iraq will roll over midnight. Iraq's midnight is coming up. Yeah, whatever. God, I hate Microsoft and Apple sometimes. It will be midnight in Iraq in 2.5 hours. So look for a possibility of something happening in 2.5 hours. That's also a good time when U.S. markets and banks are aligned for it to go. Do I know it's going to happen? No, I don't. On the bond side, I have a bond broker, a guy who I've told you before, bond holder, who actually brought off ledger bonds into the system on ledger. He had a meeting. His lawyers had a meeting with U.S. Treasury yesterday. They were given a commission number that they were going to receive if they wanted it. They accepted the offer. They were told that today the money would be available in his account. Now, he can see the money in his account. He's been able to see this money for a long time. They were told it would be released today on Wednesday. I should have confirmation of that possibly later today, or worst case scenario, I expect confirmation tomorrow if that actually happens. As Sky told you, the RV is scheduled to go today. That is what, again, 3 or 4 other sources of mine are also telling me, that it is scheduled for today, that it's all over, that it's time to have it happen. And she said she doesn't know what that's going to do to the med beds. Now, people who are doing humanitarian projects apparently are going to get to go in the med beds first. They get first in line before they are publicly released. So what's happened, if I'm saying this correct, Carrie Ann, if I'm saying this correct, if I'm not saying it correct, please let me know, Telegram or some other communication method, that I got it wrong. But my understanding of what she said is, in fact, that the public release of med beds will come a little bit later. But those who are exchanging, doing the RV, which is, by the way, what funds the med beds, and are doing humanitarian projects, are going to go first. So then the question becomes, what's a humanitarian project? Well, the humanitarian projects are funded almost exclusively out of the ZIM, and my understanding is also possibly the Bolivar. In order to qualify as doing a humanitarian project, basically all you have to do is either pick from a list of their existing humanitarian projects and say, yes, I want to fund that, or you can come up with your own project. Now, people have done very extensive lists. My understanding is that now that they want to shorten the redemption appointments even shorter than they had planned before, which is about 45 minutes, they're now looking at, they want to get you in and out of there in 20 minutes is what I've been told. They want to get you in, they want to get you out. So you basically have an opportunity to do 2 or 3 lines, 1 paragraph. This is a humanitarian project I would like to do, or this is a humanitarian project I would like to do. They will take your name, they will write down the nature of the project, and then they will contact you later for the details if you have the details. Now, I am told that that alone will qualify you to get in line for the med beds to do a humanitarian project, but you have to have ZIM, or I believe the ZIM agro checks, and possibly the Bolivar to qualify for that. The Iraqi dinar, the Vietnamese dong, the Indonesian rupiah, as far as I know, those are not qualified humanitarian sources. Now, why is this? It's because the value of the ZIM is so much higher, so incredibly higher than you can imagine. The more ZIM you have, the more funding you are able to create. Because remember, you have to understand, in the monetary system, money doesn't exist until you activate it. A living, breathing human being has to sign something to create money. So you can have a Zim Agro check. You can have a currency. And it actually has no value until you give it a value by signing a document that says, yes, I intend to take this special agro check worth 100 billion Zim dollars and activate it, put it into motion, put the currency into circulation. So what qualifies you for that? How does that work? Well, the more Zim bonds that you have, the more Zims, let's say, that you have, the greater the amount you're going to be able to collect. A certain percentage is going to be set aside to pay out to you. My understanding is the maximum value. Well, I have a friend who's very connected to one of the Federal Reserve banks. He's very high up in there. He sees a lot of inside information, and I've had a lot of conversations with him about this whole process. He asked me how many Zim 100 trillion notes I had. I told him. You know what he said back to me? He said, you're going to be a billionaire. That's based on the payout that I will receive, which will be 50 million, let's say, per Zim note, per 100 trillion note. So I have to have 10 of those, 20 of those to be a billionaire. Now, if you agree to let them pay your money out over time, the longer the payout, and it can go, I believe, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or 30 years. If you choose the 30-year payout, not only do I get the higher rate of 50 million per note, but I also get a higher interest rate while that money sits there and collects interest and pays me out over 30 years. So, in other words, if I only had $300 or $400 trillion notes, I might get 11 million per 100 trillion Zim bond. I might get 15 million. I might get 33 million. And if I took the shorter payout, I would get a lower interest rate, and I would get less money per month or year, or however they're going to work it out. So that's how the process is going to work. The more you have, the more you get. The longer you let them hold it, the higher the interest rate you will get, and the longer the payout, and in the long run, the more money you will receive. Now, beyond what they are paying you, the intrinsic value of a Zim bond or an agro check is much higher than what they're paying you, much higher. So what happens to the rest of that money? What happens to the rest of that $100 trillion on your 100 trillion Zim note? If you're only getting 50 million for it, what happens to the rest of it? It doesn't exist unless you agree to fund humanitarian projects. As I understand it, it does not have to be a humanitarian project that you manage and you control and you run, herd on the entire time. You can sign off on their list and say, hey, I want to support infrastructure. Me personally, one of my personal things, I want to support space travel, medical technologies, longevity technologies, and guess what? When I say infrastructure, I mean like securing the power grid against solar flares and EMP events. Those are things that I'm passionate about. I want to fund a project to fly a rover back to the moon, live stream the entire thing from launch until landing on the moon at Tranquility Base, where the rover comes out and runs right up over to the footpad of Apollo 11 and says, see, here's the astronauts' footprints. So we can shut people the F up about faking the moon landings. Those are projects that I'm passionate about. So I can pick from the list. If I pick from the list, I am engaging in a humanitarian project. As I understand it, therefore that puts me at the front of the line or near the front of the line to go get a med bed treatment first before they come out to the public. So that is what I understand it is. Now, if you choose not to do a humanitarian project, you don't go to the front of the line. If you choose not to pick from their humanitarian projects, you don't go to the front of the line. You wait in line with the general public like everybody else. In addition to that, you do not get the higher value payout of your Zim bond or your Bolivar, if they're included, whatever it is. You don't get the higher payout. You don't get the higher interest rate. You get a lower payout and a lower interest rate, or you can also just exchange the bond for straight cash. But my understanding is that's going to be like $50,000. So you're holding a piece of paper, a document. I should just leave this out since I keep pulling it back out again. You're holding a Zim bond or a special agro check. Its value is $100 billion. Out of that, they're saying, okay, we're going to give you $50 million for that because you have 30 of them. And we're going to pay you 25% interest per year over 30 years if you hold it for 30 years. I can't believe I dropped it. But if you don't want to wait and you don't want the higher rate, we'll just give you $50,000 for each one of these. Those are your choices. Now, which one are you going to pick? Also, you don't get the privileges of going to the front of the line by being a humanitarian to get into the med beds. So it's pretty obvious which choice you should make or which choice I'm going to make. The thing too is that let's say they give me $50 million for this, $33 million for this, for one of these. What happens to the rest of that $100 billion? If I do not engage in a humanitarian project or agree to a contract for it, it evaporates. It doesn't exist. It can't be used. Only a conscious soul can put this into motion for the good of humanity. Now, isn't that a pretty good deal? So if this thing is worth $1 billion in the end, if all those together are worth $1 billion in the end, you aren't going to get the $1 billion. You're going to get what the payout is on the currency, the bonds, or the documents that you hold. The payouts are going to be incredibly generous. Another way you can qualify, I have been told, another way you can qualify for being a humanitarian is simply saying, I'm going to start this business, and this business, and I'm going to create jobs with them. And that also qualifies you to get the higher payouts, the privileges that go with that, and get into the front of the line for med beds. So that is my understanding of how this works. Okay, and we'll get to questions here in a minute. The other thing about this that's important is the process of going through the exchange is basically you sit down, you give them your currency, they evaluate it right there, your currency, your bonds, they evaluate it right there. They give you a value. The terms of the exchange are explained to you. The money, the currency never leaves your sight. You go from that station to another station to another station, and at the end of it, you have a bank account full of funds. You're going to get, let's say, 15 or 20% up front. Let's say you got $1 billion worth of currency and bonds. You're going to get 15% of that up front. So 150 million. The rest is paid out over 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. That's how it's going to be paid out, the rest of it. And that money is going to be earning interest again the entire time it is sitting in your quantum financial system account. It truly is generational wealth. If you do it that way, you'll never run out of money. Okay? And that's the news update. I'm sure I'm going to get asked questions as we get to questions. So let's slide over to the comments. Joe Evans, hi Joe. Have you changed your stance on what 3i Atlas really is turning out to be? No, in fact, I'm doubling down that it is a long period comet, a remnant of the core of the planet Maldek, which used to orbit essentially in the orbit that Mars occupies now. Mars was a moon of Maldek, and that I think accounts for the fact that it's mostly nickel, how it's behaving, the fact that it is coming back in along the plane of the ecliptic, and it is passing so close to the orbit of Mars, because that's where it originated from. So NASA, for whatever reason, doesn't want to tell you that. They don't want to tell you that information. So they're just not. Okay, Jason, let me guess. Everything I'm hearing is this is done. We don't know what the holdup is. This should be done. According to Marxie's contacts, it's done. CIA Tony's contacts agree it's done. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, thanks for your optimism and positivity there. You know, the one thing I would say to you is that Michael Jordan, not only is not the best athlete of the 20th century, Muhammad Ali was, he's not even the best basketball player. He never beat Magic. He never beat Bird. They were both better than him. And bye-bye. See you later. Okay. What are you hearing on rates for Zim? I can only tell you the max because I qualified for the max, which I understand is 50 million per 100 trillion note. That's my understanding. If you have enough, like more than 10, you can qualify for that. I don't know about the 3 million per note, the 11 million per note, the 15 million per note. I don't, 33 million per note. I don't know. I don't know if those are true. I am told that the top rate is absolutely is 50 million per 100 trillion note. Yeah, no, I haven't changed my stance. Thank you for the super chat. And again, you're going to go right to the top for questions if you super chat or Rumble Rant. Let me double check over if there are any Rumble Rants. There are none. Thank you guys for the not support. Jen and I, by the way, split all the Rumble Rants and super chats. So you're helping me, you're helping Jen. Okay. No sound, no sound, no sound, no sound. Okay, still no sound. Yeah, Bruce, as I understand it, what he said last night was true. So okay. Still working. And by the way, I hate Cox Cable. I fucking hate Cox Cable. Deep State are blocking my audio. I don't know, maybe. RV notices today. Yes, give us a finger. Yeah. Well, that's what I hear. So I hope so. Okay. Scrolling on down. Lots of yeses and yays and woohoos. And yes, we can hear you now. Good. Well, I'm glad we finally got it going. Bad echo. Okay. Yes, I'd be glad to do readings for you, April. Just ask me, you know, where am I going to be on March 26th, 2026, and I'll let you know. The mushroom coffee creamer was really great. Good. Good. And it's helped great for you. So. Yeah, Marsh, you know, if you don't believe all the hopium, you don't need to come in and comment and bring everybody's vibe down. So how about not doing that? What do I think about Mama Dami being elected for New York City? I think we need to put a wall up around Manhattan, a 100-foot high wall, and dump all of our worst criminals and illegal aliens into Manhattan. Like scoop up every illegal alien that's in the country and dump them in Manhattan and make a movie out of it called Escape from New York. So, can you give us the rates today that you were going to give last week? Yeah. Which ones would you like to ask me about? Praying these med beds come out soon. My BFF's hubby is battling cancer. Well, Linda, I would recommend talking to Dr. William Mackus on X and get a hold of his clinic and get on his protocol and see if he can help you with that. Can anyone testify that the patches have normalized their A1C? I don't know. I haven't tried that. Tony's going to block. Tony's already blocked me. I'm sure somebody from his retarded call will tell him what I said. That's fine. That's the idea. Shut the fuck up about things you don't know anything about, Tony. And I mean, imagine being fed shit by the CIA and thinking you're on the inside. You're the guy who's in the know. There are threats coming to people involved in the MedBed network. There's some truth to that, as I understand it. With the commies taking over, will our money be secure post-RV? Well, the commies aren't taking over. New York was already basically commie town. There's nothing different there. What needs to happen, though, is that the red parts of these blue states need to be able to be allowed to secede and separate and form new states. Eastern Washington, Eastern Oregon, and Idaho need to be united as one state. And let Washington, let Portland and Seattle and Northern California exist on their own. What's going on now is taxation without representation. So that needs to be taken all the way to the Supreme Court. So Mark Z said he had zero news today. I can guarantee you that's not true. I can guarantee he's got news by now. Sky said we're still good for today. I agree with her. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah, I heard humanitarian was. There's also some rumor that Bolivar is involved in the humanitarian as well, because they're going to pay out so massively. You're not going to become a trillionaire. You're not. But that money, when you put it into motion by engaging in the humanitarian projects, it flows out to the rest of humanity. And that's a good thing. Some people are getting age regressed. We don't know yet that that's part of it. We don't know yet. We'll see. Once they go public, Big Pharma's over. Sky was going to do. She's not going to, as I understand it now, she's not doing that. Okay, answered that question. Each 100 trillion note is worth 3 to 8 billion per day. XRP Lion is nuts. We can keep 20% of us for us. I don't know. That's quite how it works, but. Okay, no med bed for me. It will change our frequency. Not necessarily. It will simply enhance the frequency that you already are. I'm 76 years old. I do not have 30 years. You should think about that, because as I understand it, you will be able to pass this on to your children and your grandchildren, or turn over the rest of it to somebody else, as I understand it. And with med bed technology, look, if the RV is real, the med beds are probably real too. you may very well easily live another 30, 40, 50, or even a couple hundred years. So. Sure, the payout can be to a trust. That's correct. Revocable, irrevocable, I don't know. One thing that Sky did tell me that was really interesting is that marriage as we know it is going to end. Now they're going to do the old-fashioned thing where you put your hands on top of each other's and they wrap like a ribbon of flowers around you and you declare yourselves married to each other. There's not going to be any more legal documents and licenses, and because the purpose of all that is to create assets for the corporation. You're merging your two corporations. The purpose of that merger is to produce children, which are assets for the corporation. With the corporation dissolved, marriage can simply become two people making a commitment to each other. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars were moons of Maldek. Incorrect. What I call Maldek, anyway. Oh, yeah. As I understand it, NDAs may not be a thing. Okay, so you have 5 billion aggro check. Heard it was 330,000 per billion. Is this true? That is what I hear. Yeah, that is what I hear. So 100 billion. One of those 100 billion Zim aggros I just showed you would be worth 33 million. Will I be able to exchange the XRP in our cold wallet at a redemption center? Not that I know of. I don't think it's for that. So, and you want to hodl your hodl it. So, your XRP, because it's going to be worth a lot, but it's going to take a while to get there. Tony says Zim is not going to go. All right, this is a prime example for CIA, Tony. Okay, this is how you do it, Tony. You actually know what the other person said. It's first thing. Tony did not say that. What Tony said is that the Zim was not on the screens on, what was it, Monday when he did his call. That's what he said. He didn't say the Zim wasn't going to go. He said it wasn't on the screens on Monday. That's how it was easy to figure out it wasn't going to happen on Monday. All that means is some sort of value or rate is changing on the Zim, so it was on hold. If I get information, let's say CIA Tony does a call later today. If he were to say the rates are there, including the Zim, I'm going to say, okay, we're in the ballpark, we're in play. If the rates are showing all of them, then you can go. And I'm going to tell you again, my Federal Reserve contact told me that in actuality, the only three currencies that qualify to revalue right now are the dinar, the dong, and the Zim. They're the only three that really, truly qualify, have done all their paperwork. So we shall see. Okay. It doesn't make any sense to you. However, that's what I hear. I hear that the more you have, the higher your rate, the higher the interest rates you're going to get on the money that you reserve. Eat shit, Mike. You're not all that bright. Yeah, I am, Ron. I am. I'm very bright. I'm a lot brighter than you are, for one thing. So, I don't have any Zim, etc. Will the RV bring in Nassar for the rest of us? Yes. Yes. Guess what day it is? It's RV day. Yep. It wasn't a cold. It was a sinus infection, which I think I picked up at Pahrump, or was already getting them just from all my travels. I tend to get them. I get sinus infections easily because of the dry climate here. Dating advice when I'm rich. There's not going to be any dating advice because I am probably going to be getting married. So, you're welcome, Stevie. How many projects are on that list that they have? I have no idea, but I can't wait to find out. I sure would like to be finding out tomorrow. I'll tell you that. Who was the truther targeted recently? If I knew, I couldn't tell you. So, Bolivar rate, unknown. In fact, there is some doubt whether the Bolivar is even going to be in the process. One source says absolutely the Bolivar is a linchpin to this. It's very important. Another source says no, they're not going to be ready for 3 or 4 more years. So, who knows? If we're funding projects, could we have one of our parents going to the med bed in our place? Probably, but I don't know. I mean, we still hear these rumors. That's a question for Sky. Maybe I'll have Sky on and we'll just take questions about med beds if she'd like to come on. But frankly, I'm frankly hoping that we're all busy and under NDAs and not having to talk about this anymore because it's all happening. But there's the rumor that you can pick 6 people to get the med bed treatment. You can give them a list. The problem with that is that if they're going to hold them and you to the NDA, meaning they can't talk about it either, I'm not giving them anybody on the list because I'm not trusting any of the people I would put on that list necessarily, except 1 or 2, to keep their mouth shut. There's people that would be at the top of my list, but she can't keep her mouth shut. So if that's going to put my blessing in jeopardy, then I'm going to tell them wait till the public because they're not really going to have anything to be concerned about. Wise is a debit card to spend from. That's correct. And again, the rates that I will tell you, there's Forex rates. All you're going to get in Wise is Forex. You're going to be subject to Wise's terms of use, but you will have a debit card and you should have plenty of USD in there. It just converts whatever let's say you've got 2 million dong in there and you end up with $1 million or something, or $2 million worth of dong. When you spend that off your card, it just does the conversion. So it's an automatic thing. Do I have a rate for the dong? Every rate that I have, except for the Zim, which is rumored, is Forex rate. $2.12. $330 billion on the agros. Yep, same thing. What if you have the 20 trillion or 10 trillion Zims? Will they qualify you for the med beds? I believe that is correct. I've been told that. Yes. As long as you give them permission to use the residual that you don't get for humanitarian projects, that qualifies you as a humanitarian. Any word on New Gen Coin? Not a thing. And that's a very disappointing situation. So they are waiting to be funded by the RV. And when you have the RV, you're not going to need your New Gen. So rates on dinar and dong. Dong I just gave you, $2.12 Forex rate. Forex rate I've given you before on the Iraqi dinar is $5.96. It has been since around August 1st. So I'm trying. Don't know who that. She said it's not going to happen. That's not why Jen's not on today. I don't know why she's not on, but that's not it. Hey, super chat. Do more of this. Will they charge taxes on our currency exchange? I have no idea. I have 2 viable sources that tell me yes, and I have 2 viable sources that tell me no. So plan accordingly. I plan on setting aside 50% of everything liquid just in case there's taxes, whatever it turns out to be. That's what I'm going to do. Tony probably knows the secretary or someone at the CIA. Look, when you get involved in this and start talking about it in public and develop a little bit of an audience, people come to you. So I've been to New York twice, my first and last. I've been there 5 or 6 times. I went there, I think, half a dozen times in Times Square and stuff for when I was shooting Truth Behind the Moon Landing. They had their production company there in Times Square. They put me up in the Times Square Hilton. It was very nice. I saw most of all the sites except for the Statue of Liberty. But yeah, I'm not gonna go back. Maybe to speak, but I'll be in and out of there. It's going to become a very, very horrific place. Is that Tony's three-letter agency? He has contacts in a number of three-letter agencies. CIA apparently now is one of them. He's finally admitted that. IMF and Bank of International Settlements. And he says the UN. But, the reason, look, he's talking to all the wrong people, all the deep staters. That's why his information is not correct. Okay, dinar rates, already did that. Do you think yellow dragon bonds purchased through eBay are good? I have no idea. You're taking the risk, but I know there are legitimate yellow dragon bonds out there that are going to be exchanged. I have another friend who has bonds and knows people in the bond community, and they also are expecting to get paid today. So. I believe Prop 50 passed. Will still cheating, or are people just done? There's still massive cheating, and nothing's been done about it. So, would the plastiline guy be a good project to get behind? I have no idea what that is, and I don't give financial advice. So, will the med beds be able to get women who can't have children to be able to again? The answer to that, I believe, been told, is absolutely yes. I intend, as part of my process, to have my vasectomy reversed so that I can produce children with the woman that all my psychics keep telling me I'm going to be marrying in a couple of years. So. That will be spectacular. Maybe you won't need a prenup to keep from getting hosed if your girl decides she's suddenly bored. Yeah, hopefully. Deb Mayer with a $9.99 super sticker. Thank you, Deb. It's very sweet. Trump posted on Truth Social, "So it begins." That's the line from Lord of the Rings. So it begins. It's ominous and awesome. Talked about Dong and Dinar. I already told you guys that. $2.12 and $5.96. Bolivar, again, I hear the 30 cents like everybody else does. And Hungarian Pengo, no idea on the Pengo. I'm Hungarian. I should be tuned into the Pengo, but no, I don't know. Lucy says, Jen said I'd be moving into my folks' house the third week of November, so the RV would have to be done this week. Otherwise, it won't be possible. Sounds good to me, Lucy. About 4 years ago, I bought some patches and never used them. Do you think they're still okay to use? Yeah. They have an expiration date on them, but I'd say just go ahead and use them. And if you get any good results, then do it again. Buy more of them. Buy them through me, preferably. My LifeWave site would be the way to go. But Bolivar rate 30 cents is what I hear like everybody else. So. I don't think it's going to be a redhead. Pay the Joe says LifeWave patches are really helping my knees. Good, Pay the Joe. And there's a whole there's 3 different patches they have for that. So it's not cheap, but what do you want to pay to be healed? Keep me up to date on that, Pay the Joe. How those are working for you. So Mike, I guess you mean, if we take the 30-year payout throughout, do we get paid throughout those 30 years or after 40 years is over? Yeah, we get paid for 30 years. But guess what? With all the money you're going to make, you can reinvest in other currencies or other things that are going to be making you money. It's possible. Anything's possible. I would have told you on July 30th, 31st, I would have told you there's no way we're still going to be here talking about this in November. Yet here we are. So of course it's possible, but it's unlikely because everything is ready to go. Yeah, I mean, I know two people I would love to get on a list to get into med beds, but if they blab when they're not supposed to, and it will expose me and my blessing, I'm not going to put them on the list. I'm going to let them wait, because neither one of them is in life-threatening situations. I'm not going to do that. So it just depends on what the terms are for the recommending 6 people. Okay, he turns plastic waste into fuel. Okay, well, that sounds like a great project. Jolene says, appreciate your time and keeping us updated. Hey, I'll probably do another thing on Friday. People are pushing me to do a show on Friday. I tend to get really burned out, but I've probably been more burned out than normal the last couple of weeks just because I had the sinus infection stuff. So, yeah. Interest is available to you on the 30-year payout, then that's fine. It's more than you can probably ever spend. Here's the thing. When I first moved to LA, I was making really good money. I was making more than $150,000 a year, which even in a high tax state like LA in 2003 was a lot of money. And what you discover is when you don't worry about money is after a certain point, you have everything you want. You're going to get your house. You're going to get your fancy car or cars, and you're going to buy all the stuff you want. Ooh, I want that 98-inch TV. And then after just a few months, there's no more stuff to buy. So what do you do with it? Well, you could do what I did, which is go try to find love in all the wrong places. Take vacations, start businesses, employ people, be creative. Do some things that you want to do, but you'll never be able to spend it all. Jordan was cabal and sacrificed his dad for fortune. Well, I don't know about that, but he was pretty famous and fortunate at that point. Yeah, let's go RV. I hope it's my last day of Intel too. Little red Ferrari, yeah. Now look, Tony is not full of shit. Is he a dickhead? Yeah. Is he wrong? Yeah, we've all been wrong because he's listening to some of the wrong people, but he's also listening to some people who know some stuff. I knew the rate for the dinar on the Forex was 596 on or around August 1st. Right around Labor Day, Tony comes out and says the rate on the dinar is 596. Where do you get that from? Got it from somebody who knew, because I knew, and I knew who I got it from. So he's not. He's not. But he does jump to conclusions. He's got a big ego, and he says stupid shit sometimes, especially about other people when he doesn't know what he's talking about. So stay in your lane, Tony. Tony, you are the RV for the Walmart crowd. Stay in that lane. Azure Sage says, I want to make a shelter that would keep as many kitties as I can from being put down. Yep, it's a great idea. Hire veterans. Would that be a good humanitarian? That'd be a fantastic humanitarian project. Absolutely fantastic. Write that down. A couple of paragraphs at most. I want to find a building, create a shelter that will keep at-risk pets and animals from being put down. And I'm going to hire veterans, especially even disabled veterans, to work for the project. It's an amazing idea. If I had time to do that, that's what I'd do. But I would help fund something like that. I'm a dear man and deserve a sweet woman. Well, I don't know about that, but yeah. Thank you. She's going to be sweet. I don't care if she's dumb as a post, okay? But she's going to be sweet. because my first wife was really smart and it was hell. Because she wasn't sweet. She was manipulative and controlling. And I'm not going to pick that again. I'm going to pick completely against my type. Now, I'm not saying I'm not attracted to intellect. I am very attracted to intellect, but it has to be properly funneled intellect. It has to come from a sweet spirit. So yeah, I have candidates. I don't know that much. I've kind of detached from the Boulevard because I've been told by people that it wasn't going to go until 3 or 4 years from now, but we'll see. I'm convinced the X-ray scanners, the machines lower immunity. It's possible, but in my travels, I have TSA pre-check. I don't go through the scanners. I haven't been through a scanner maybe but once this whole year. So I use my patches twice. Usually they will stick. Okay. I think, you're supposed to use them once, but yeah. The HCL is not passed. Thomas, it's passed a million times. It's passed. It's agreed to. Doesn't fucking matter. They're just going to announce that they took a vote. It has nothing. That has nothing to do with anything. Yeah, people in their circle are going to notice. So they'll be hard pressed. Yeah. So if that's a requirement of the NDA, I'm going to say I'd like to put this person and this person and this person through it, but I don't trust that they'll keep their mouth shut. So there must be a solution to that, I think. I don't know. Yeah, I love Michael, but he believes everything people tell him. We won't have a need for generational wealth because money won't be necessary. Yeah, it will. It will still be necessary. And thank God for that, because I like having money and a money system. And you need a motivation for people to do better and excel and go beyond and work harder. So I think it's going to be generations before we get out of a monetary system. There's always going to be a means of exchange. Always. I think even between extraterrestrial civilizations, there's a means of exchange. Nancy, I'm glad you're going to be grateful for that. And I hope it's today. I hope it's soon, today. Marriage is a legal binding construct of the state. Do not get married via the system. That's correct. That's correct. Like to have the new Corvette. There's a million Corvettes here in Vegas, and I'll look up, and at first you say to yourself, ooh, look at that cool supercar, and then you're like, oh, it's a Chevy. So, okay, update. Yeah, I'm not sure that update changes anything, so I'm not going to address it. Hopefully in our future we won't have any disabled veterans. Amen to that idea. You're about to be very rich. Why do you want to be hooked up? Enjoy being rich for a few years. Money's like alcohol. Okay? It doesn't change who you are. It simply makes you more of who you already are. And I've been a bachelor for 20 years, and I've had enough fun. And I don't know that I want to be hooked up, but I'd like, there's a few ladies out there that are worth it. Does Iraq still have to announce the new rate first? That's public. So we could get our appointments and start going to our redemption centers for a week or 2 or 10 days before there's anything public. So no. Do you know Jason Green? He's a tour manager for Stephen Piercy of Rat fame and lives in Vegas and does a podcast. I saw something about that. I think he's going to open. Actually, Dave Bara and I are going to go see One Last Kiss, the Kiss tribute band that I saw a week ago. We're going to go see them again in a couple weeks. It's a preview show at the old Hard Rock, which is now Virgin Hotels. That's going to be fun. I'm going to drag Dave out to that. So. Is there still a window, or do they just pull the trigger? They just pull the trigger. That's all we're waiting for. Is there going to be a need for nickels, quarters, and pennies? I doubt it. They've already stopped making pennies. So, Robert says I'm going to be single for life. I might have a partner, but not married ever again. If I can't do what I do financially, she won't qualify. She can't do what I. Well, anyway. What will be the excuse when this doesn't happen? If this doesn't happen today, I don't know. I'll wait for them to make the excuse because I'm just telling you what they're telling me. So, how to be able, yeah, lots of videos on generate. Look, it's pretty straightforward. Take a certain percentage of your windfall, 10%. Create a trust, stick it in a trust, have it pay you out over time. Starting when you request the trustee to start it. And just say, this is Mike's, I will always be rich money. Let's say we do have these astronomical sums. What I'm going to tell you is that the first, let's say $50 million, if I get that much, if I get 50 million, if I get 500 million, the first 50 million is going to be set aside for Mike will always be rich money. It's going to be stuck in the safest, most secure, gold-backed, silver-backed funds, whatever I can possibly find. All the insurance, all the bells and whistles, everything, so that I can't be sued for that money or anything. That's what I'm going to do. Set that up first. And then after that, go have fun. So the rupiah rate is $1.47 if they are part of the basket, the first basket. They've had some chaos over there. Okay, ready for this to happen. Vegas Flash, thanks for helping us out and explaining them and for all you do. You guys are welcome. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate each and every one of you. And Jen and I will be back on, I think, on Monday. And I'll probably be here on Friday to give you a news update. We'll talk about, hopefully we're talking about how we're all going to spend our money. So good luck. Have a great Wednesday. See you tonight on Whiskey and Wisdom with the original Mark Z. Bye-bye.